What is the purpose of reciting Auzubillah Minashaitan Nirajeem? Many scholars like Imam Razi and others have explained this in some detail. First of all, we are seeking refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from ignorance. What type of ignorance? Any type of ignorance. Of course, it ultimately is to protect you from shaitan, but simultaneously, ignorance, we seek refuge in Allah from ignorance. What ignorance? Ignorance that takes us away from that straight path. Ignorance that does not enable us to stay in the line of the Quran and the Ahadith and the teachings of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ignorance of jahala, of bid'ah, of shirk. All of these we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And anything that detracts us, which I'll talk about a little bit later, anything that takes us off our mission. And our mission is ultimately, I mentioned last week and I mentioned again, our mission is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is our maqsad. The ultimate essence of Tawheed and the ultimate essence of why we seek refuge in Allah from shaitan is so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects us, our iman and our belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers and sisters, there are many things that are happening in society today that you and I might think is just passive. But it is an attack, a direct attack on our iman, on our aqidah, and on our belief. Sometimes we might not even realize. The mentality will be, oh, what's the problem? I'm not going to say anything. It's nothing to do with me. But if it's to do with your creed, if it's to do with your aqidah, it is to do with your iman and Islam, then you might not say anything. But the influence of such in popular culture will affect you and your progeny. Hence we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from ignorance. Furthermore, we seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from sin. We seek refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from sin. Because sin is what stops the penetration of the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be that through the tilawah of the Quran, be that the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, takbir wa tahmeed wa tahleel, be it in every good that you do. When you commit a sin, then your heart is affected through that. Your ruhani state is affected. We learn in the narration, when an individual commits a sin, a black dot goes to your heart. And then you do another sin. Another black dot goes onto your heart. Until you become such that you commit sin after sin after sin. And then kalla bal rana ala qulubihim. In other parts, khatamallahu ala qulubihim. Wa ala sam'ihim. Wa ala absarihim. Ghishawa. That the situation becomes that Allah seals your heart. Nothing good penetrates in your soul. Somebody tells you, brother, let's go pray salah. You mind your own business. You go and pray your salah, let me do my business. Why? Because of the effect of sin. You see good, but you can't accept that good. You think, oh, these people are backward. These people are in the stone ages. These people are doing ghulu. They are doing extremeness. All of these languages and behaviors comes because of the impact of sinning and the impact that sin has on my spiritual contact and my spiritual being. Furthermore, the Quran states that even our hearing becomes sealed. You can see, you can hear, you can feel, but nothing affects you. Why? The impact of sin has blocked everything. Just the way metal, or rather when gold and other types of precious metal, how do they become bad? They start to rust. And when the rust becomes such, you may have seen this on aluminium, that when aluminium starts to rust, after a period of time, it changes color, it goes from shade to shade, and lo and behold, it starts to get holes in it. And then soon it becomes brittle. Once upon a time, the aluminium, if you hit it, it would not break. Give it a moment of time of rust, of holes, and if you hit it once, it'll shatter. Why? Because of the effect of that rustness. In exactly the same way, in exactly the same method, when you commit sin after sin after sin, it shatters your spiritual state and it seals the heart. That's why we learn in another part of the Quran, in Surah Taha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a scenario of a person who will stand on the day of judgment. And they will say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, قَالَ رَبِّ لِمَ حَشَرْتَنِي أَعْمَى وَقَدْ كُنْتُ بَصِيرًا. Ya Rabb, why have you made me blind? In the dunya I could see. Why have you made me blind? The person will argue with Allah and will say, Ya Allah, why have you made me blind? Allah says, أَتَتْكَ آيَاتُكَ فَنَسِيتَهَا. Did I not give you all the signs? I gave you all the signs. I gave you masjid, I gave you prayer, I gave you Ramadan, I gave you Quran, I gave you intellect, I gave you everything. But your attitude was, you gave a cold shoulder. You acted blind. You didn't care less. So today we make you literally blind. Today we make you literally blind because of your blindness to all the signs that we had given you.